Yo, what's up guys? Today we're taking a look at the DigitalFoto Thanos Pro, a camera support system which can help you with filming for long hours with heavy camera setups. Let's go! So the Thanos Pro comes in a carrying case which will fit the vest, the arm, the collar yoke, and the attachments for your gimbal of choice, so either a Crane 2 or the Ronin-s. And you can also get one for the Crane 3S, an attachment. So this one right here, and this just screws in straight into the Crane 3S and goes right into the arm. And last but not least, there is a counterweight system that will also fit in here to balance out your gimbal on the yoke. I have also a few extra accessories that I need to make this setup more functional, but I'll get to that soon. I think the build quality is very good for this price point. The straps of the vest are adjustable and should fit most body heights and shapes. The chest plate is also adjustable. All pads can be taken off as they are simply attached with Velcro, so you can give them a wash. The arm has two knobs that allow you to adjust the strength of the springs. You can change that depending on the weight of your camera setup. The arm can handle from 2.5 kilograms to 9 kilograms of weight. And onto the arm, you can attach the yoke, which is basically a gimbal for your gimbal. It is very smooth and allows really smooth moves, especially after having the gimbal properly balanced. With the yoke, you can tilt the camera up and down, and it will give you a lot of flexibility with your camera movements. And it also gives you better stabilization. First of all, you have the electronic gimbal. Then you have the yoke, which holds the gimbal and allows the gimbal to twist and turn. Plus, the arm that holds the weight will also reduce the up and down motion when walking or running. This setup definitely takes a lot of the weight off your arms and allows you to take more control over the camera movements. And also it enables you to do manual focus a lot more precisely. So the first thing you'll need to do is balance the rig. And of course, the setup time of the entire rig is going to take a little bit longer than setting up the gimbal by itself. But it's definitely worth it. Putting on the vest and the arm is really quick and easy, especially once the straps are adjusted to you. This is pretty much just something you do once for the first time. The thing that takes time is balancing the gimbal, as you have to balance it twice. First, balancing your camera on the gimbal, and then secondly, you have to balance the gimbal on the collar yoke. I usually bring my gimbal pre-balanced specifically for the setup I'll be filming on, so that saves me a bit of time, but small adjustments still will need to be made. So let's say you're doing a long walking shot for a music video without a vest. Once you've done a few takes, your arms will get tired, and especially with a heavier setup that includes, wireless transmitters and external monitors, you won't be able to keep the shot as steady, especially towards the end of the take. You'll definitely need to have a camera support system. I found that the extra setup time at the beginning of a shoot will save time in the long run when filming many long takes. You're just able to keep going for longer. But I would recommend to have a stand on standby just in case there is a break in between the takes. It's always good to give your back a break. I also want to mention that for the first time I put this setup on, it did feel heavy on my back, but after practicing with the setup for a few times, you learn to carry the weight on your hips. And after adjusting the straps and the chest plate height, I was able to have the rig on for a few hours with a few breaks in between. I highly recommend doing a lot of practice before you take your Thanos Pro to a job. Let your muscles get used to the weight and the way that a Steadicam works. Definitely practice your camera movements and practice the shots you want to achieve. Now let's get into balancing. The easiest way to balance this rig is on a light stand or a C-stand. Just make sure you put 1 or 2 sandbags on the stand. First of all, I put the collar yoke attachment on the stand, I put the gimbal through the yoke and make sure it's attached. At the bottom of the gimbal I have a quick release plate, which I use to attach the bottom counterweights on. With my Crane 2 rig and the Lumix S1, I need to extend the counterweights a bit lower, so I have attached a magic arm that I had to get separately. A better way to do this would be to get some sort of a monopod that can be extended down with the counterweights, which would be a more robust solution. After you balance the setup, put on the vest and insert the arm into the vest. From there, you simply lift off the gimbal with the collar yoke and attach it to the arm. It's best to have an assistant on set to help you out with this, but after some practice you should be able to do it yourself. There are a few items you might want to get for this setup apart from an extension for the counterweights. If you got an external monitor, you could mount it to one of the side points of the collar yoke, but if your monitor is on the heavier side like my Ninja 5 with an 8-pin cage and a Mars 400 video transmitter attached, you might want to invest in 2 magic arms and 2 clamps. One will not be enough as it might start to slip. As soon as you attach the second arm to the monitor, it will be very secured and it won't twist when running. So, if you have a Crane 3S, there is a little mount accessory you can use. You basically attach the Crane 3S on top of this with this one screw, and this goes on top of the arm. But having the gimbal attached this way means that it's very top heavy and the gimbal won't be as steady as the yoke setup. With slow and walking movements, this setup does work, but as soon as you want to do more complex movements, especially with fast walking and running, the gimbal will start rocking, from side to side. I noticed when I turned the image stabilization on my Lumix S1, the shots were definitely usable, but not as smooth as the Crane 2 with the yoke setup. And another thing with the Crane 3S setup is that you will be unable to tilt up and down like you are with the Crane 2 setup. There are a few ways of having tilt control on the Crane 3S, and the first is just to use the joystick on the gimbal. Another way to control the tilt would be to use the Julian Transmount transmission and camera control system to control the gimbal movements wirelessly. This setup is very cool and you can definitely get creative with it, but this does require additional accessories from Julian and also an extra person to wirelessly operate the movements. By the way, stay tuned for my review of the Crane 3S. And thirdly, what I'm most excited about is DigitalFoto creating an RE Trinity mod for the Crane 3S, which means now you'll be able to use the collar yoke system with the new Crane 3S gimbal by adding a monopod to the bottom of the crane with additional weights. This will definitely make a great improvement, giving you smoother shots and a lot more possibilities of movement. If you're filming a lot of long takes and filming music videos with heavy gimbal setups, you should definitely check out Thanos Pro. It is definitely a great addition to my camera kit as it makes my day a lot easier and smoother. You can check out DigitalFoto if you want to get one and send me a DM on Instagram if you got any further questions. Definitely drop a like down below and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check, no drip this. Tell 'em